let's get this binding started. I'm so excited about this. Now I am using the Basil Basics. This is Licorice Twist. Now, I mean, you guys use whatever you want. I've always loved this paper. It's nice and thick, and I pick it up at Joann's when they have the special, which this week they have, where you get 10 for $2. And so that's when I picked this up. Instead of spending 79 cents on it, it's like 29 cents. It's good. Anyway, I digress. When I measured this, it goes to 11 5/8, which I totally would have used, even though it's got this. On this side, it's totally black. But for purposes of this exercise, this process, or whatever, for the people that don't have it, I just cut off the 5/8 and made it 8.5 by 11. But normally I would have taken advantage of this extra space here, just to let you know that if you do have the paper, you can just figure your centers out if you wanted to do that. But anyway, I digress. So you're going to need 1, 2, 3, 4 8.5 by 11 sheets of whatever color you're doing with whatever paper you're working with. Now, I have always thought that this would be super cool, but never did it. Scrap Queen, and I love her. I think I always watch her. She's so the stuff she comes up with, very, very good imagination with paper, and yeah, the stuff she comes up with is really nice. So anyway, so I if you don't subscribe to her, I would say subscribe to her, because she's worth watching if you like doing mini albums. Anyway, okay, so I changed it up just a little bit from what she did, but basically it's exactly the same, and it's still a stack the deck kind of thing, except you're leaving all your paper on there and actually using them as your sheets, and it really makes a nice kind of waterfall effect in the book. So anyway, the first one you're going to score, and I will put these score marks in the comments. You're going to score on the 11th side. You're going to score at 5 1/4 and 5 3/4. And when I did this with this thicker paper, now if your paper's not super thick, I would say don't do this, but this is super thick. So I scored, and I run it twice down this side, and then I flip it over and I run it twice down, or once, actually I do it once on this side. And it just, because your page is going to have to bend, both ways, it just, with this thicker paper, it helps. Okay, so that's your first one. Now your second one, we're going to be doing it, scoring at 5 and scoring at 6. Twice down this side, flip it over, once down the other side. But when you have it on this side, on the 5 1/4 and 5 3/4, put just a little notch. Just a little notch, flip it around, and do the same thing. Just a little notch. Alright, let's see, and that was 5 1/4 and 5 3/4 right there. So just little notches. And that way, when you go to set this into the center of this, you've got the little notches to go by. And being that this is black, it's going to be harder to see, but the little notches are going to help get these in the right spots. Okay, so that's your second page. That was scored at 5 and 6, and then you put the little notches at 5 1/4 and 5 3/4. Okay, the third sheet on the 11th side, you're going to score at 4 3/4 and at 6 1/4. Then you're going to notch at 5 and 6 and flip it over. Do that, 5 and 6, and flip it this way and do one just once down on both sides. Again, if you've got a thinner paper, do not flip it over and do it on the back side. And there's your third page. And your fourth and final page, and this is really going to give you what size spine you're going to have. So anyway, let's see. So this one is 4 1/4 and 6 3/4, and then you're going to notch at 4 3/4 and 6 1/4, and that gives you your 1/2 inch gusset on each side. And the other one was a 1/4 inch gusset in each side because of what we're going to do. It's just a little different. So I'm just trying to keep the spine size from being so large that it's going to be funky with the book. This is a nice size book, but look at how beautiful that's going to be, playing with the papers and all of that, to have all of that just, you know, really nice. I really liked it, and she did a really good job with Scrap Queen did a really good job with hers as well. So now we're going to get our score tape going, and let me get set up for that. I'll be right back. So I put the score tape on all of the edges, you know, on the little sections that are actually going to be adhered down. And yes, I like to do the score tape, and I like to make sure that they're burnished down really well and really get a good adhesion to the paper. But I also am going to use some liquid glue, because it's a different kind of adhesive, and I think between the two of them it's even a stronger bond than just having. Now I don't put glue over the top of this, because then I think it's kind of silly. I don't know. I mean, everybody's got their own thoughts, but to me, I put the glue in these spaces here. I leave them specifically so that I do have some glue in on the you know, the different spots. Now everything's getting glued to this one, but I'm going to start gluing this one down to the second one. Okay, so the one that is scored at 4 3/4 and 6 1/4, we've made the notch so that we can line this up in the center with the notch. A minute. Sorry, it's this one that's at 5 and 6. Yeah. So, and then we've got the notches, and we're going to just line these right up on the notches and put them down. And if you have score tape over the edge, you can either cut it. Some of this was over top of the other one, so I'm just making sure that I'm getting it burnished down well. But yeah, if you have pieces over the edge, I usually just back them over on themselves, or you can cut them, whichever way you prefer. I'm going to hold it like this, and I'm going to line this side up, and then I pushed it down just right there, and then I'm going to get into my light, and I'm going to line this side up. And then I'm going to burnish. Now this one I didn't put glue on because it was completely covered by the tape, so I didn't put any glue on this one. The next one will get some glue. I do have two little areas. I don't think I burnished this one, so let me burnish it. You always want to be careful when you're burnishing, and you're burnishing on your folds, your score marks, that, you know, you're not burnishing so hard that you're kind of messing those up. Okay. So now I have got to get some more of this. I'm just about out. I bought a big one of these, and I think I bought it from, what was that, Country Craft Creations. I got it home, can't find it. And I don't have a big space. It's not like, but I know I bought it. And I remember getting it out of the package going, oh yay! But I can't find it anywhere, so I guess I'm going to have to buy another one. I've looked and looked and looked. Okay, so everywhere that I see that a little bit of glue is going to help out, that's where I'm sticking it. I'm going to hold it like this. Now the next one is the 4 3/4 and the 6 1/4, and we've got the notch at 5 and 6. So I've got the light here, and again I'm going to line it up with the notch and the edge of the paper. I'm going to push that down, flip this around so I've got the light again. I'm going to get that out of the way so I can find my notches. And there we go. And then I'm going to burnish. Start getting the pages burnished so that they fold nicely. Make sure they're nice and straight. There we go. Okay. Oh, this one didn't get done. All right. Now we've got one more to do. Center it out. I'm pretty sure I burnished these, but we'll do it again. It does make it easier to get the paper backing off. Just kind of sliding my finger up underneath them, pulling them out. Okay, making sure anything I've got over kind of sticks. Gonna put, gotta wait till it gets down there. I'll put some wet glue. I tell you, these little bottles, they actually go very far, and I really do like this. I was a tried and true Scotch Quick Dry, and I thought they stopped making it. They've just renamed it something. But I couldn't find it for a while, so I kept seeing everybody using this stuff, and I thought, well, I'm going to try it. And I do like it. It actually gives you a little bit more wiggle room than the Scotch Quick Dry does. Still like the Scotch. I don't remember what they've called it now, but yeah. Okay, so gonna do the same thing. Gonna line up with my notches, and I'm gonna line up with the paper edge. Push down just a little bit so that side kind of takes hold and I'm not losing it. And then we're gonna do the same thing right here. There. Fold, burnish, fold, burnish. Now this is the new one to fold, so I'm going to be kind of sure I don't have anything coming out. Okay, and then get a nice fold on this. Make sure it's not getting to be crooked on you. All right. So now, how cool is that? It's 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. You got to 1/2 inch in the center. Then there's a 1/4 inch, and another 1/2 inch. All right, and that makes the spine 2 1/2 inches, which is not too bad. And the longest page is 5 1/4, and the shortest one is 4 1/4. Okay, so that is that makes a nice book. And this is the 8 1/2. Now you can cut this down as far as you want if you want to make it a little more like a 5 by 7. But I'm just leaving it at the 8 1/2. Okay, but that's the Stack the Deck with a twist. And I like it. And the first person I've ever seen do it is Scrap Queen. So anyway, I am going to get set up to get started on this thing. So I hope you will join me on the next video. Pick stuff from your stash and let's get this thing done. Bye guys. So I've got a couple of black medium weight chipboards. So you know, I don't have to worry about some of it showing through or anything because it's going to all be black. And I have decided that my longest page, out to my longest page, is 5 1/4 inches, okay? So I'm going to make, I always add 1/4 of an inch. I like to have 1/4 of an inch all the way around. Now if I'm going to have things that are going to stick out past the page, then you're going to add another 1/4 to a 1/2 an inch depending on what you're going to have sticking out the pages, either the top or the sides, okay? But I don't plan on things sticking out. So I'm adding 1/4 of an inch, so that'll be 5 1/2, and then I want 1/4 on each side, and this is 8 1/2, so it'll be by 9. And then I have 1/4 of an inch I'm adding to each side of my spine. This is 2 1/2, so 1/4 and 1/4 is going to make this 3. So 5 1/2 by 9 by 3. Okay, so I'm going to cut my 9 first. Measure it out. Now this is the Fiskars rotary cutter. I absolutely love it. I have a bad arm, so I'm not able to push like I normally do, but it really doesn't take a lot of manhandling. And I'm working around a tripod. I'm using my wrong arm. Let me see, can I come up with any more excuses? I'm trying really hard to come up with some excuses. Okay, so there's my 9, and I always line it up and make sure I did get a good cut. And I am pretty straight on. See, I've put it against this, against the ledge here, and then I line it up with one of these straight lines. I know this is a straight line, and I know that it butted up against this is going to give me a square piece. And I can push it right up against that line, and it is on that line all the way. So I know I've just done a very good cut. So now this is 9 inches. So I'm going to get a 5 1/2. Make sure it's pushed down against your guides down here on both sides. That way you know you're getting a good even. And then you're going to just check it. Nope, not yet. If you could see what I'm going through to do this, it's really funny. Trying to get it on, stayed on the camera for you. So there we go. And that's going to look really nice, because you got to remember you're going to have that 1/4 inch play around here as well. So it works out really nicely. Okay, so there is one, and I'm going to get the other 5 1/2 out of this one as well. Okay. This is where being consistent when you measure things really comes in handy. Because if you always put it at the same spot, you know, like here's your line. To say this is your 7-inch mark. Some people will butt it right up to the beginning of the line. Let me use this. They'll put it right there at the beginning of the line. Some people will put it in the center of the line so that you got half and half. And some people will put it just to the point where you can't see the line anymore. Doesn't really matter which one you do, as long as you consistently do it. Because if sometimes you put it in the center, and then other times you put it here, well, you're going to get, you know, it's not going to be it's not going to be the same. And I know that sounds funny, but especially if you're trying to like sell things, you want them to be as close to perfect as possible. And no matter what you do, they're still going to have that handmade, loving touch. So now I have my 3 inches. Let me go ahead and cut this by 9. And I'm going to get it all out of 1, which is what I was making sure that I was going to be able to do. So very economical. And there is your waist. That's not bad. And those will be nice elements that you can cut out with a Sizzix die or something, you know, something. Okay, so there's that. And then, now see, this is only going to be a teeny bit off. So I don't think, no, it's exactly. So there we go. So there we have our covers, and as soon as I get set up, I'll be right back and we'll put them all together. Another thing you're going to need is some Tyvek. I've got, my mom had some stuff in these that were mailed to her a while back, and I decided I wasn't going to hold them in these anymore, and I put them in Ziploc baggies for her. And then I used the bags up. I know I had said initially that I was going to make a box for this one. I'm not, though, and I'll tell you why. This is going to be like a countdown from December 1st to the 25th, and it's all about that one special picture that you took each day coming up to the 25th. And I don't know. I just decided that maybe a regular album in a box instead of this countdown one. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I'd like to make the other one, the one in the box, where it would go like year after year. Like you'd have the picture of your tree and maybe your family around the tree or something that you would do every single Christmas. And that's the one I want to put in that box. So stay tuned, because I'm going to try and do that this month as well. Okay, so this one is just going to be an album. And I've cut this piece. Let's see, what do I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 5.5 inches. But you know, when you get this piece on there, and then you put these on, you're going to be doing pretty well. I personally do not like score tape on Tyvek. I just don't think it works very well. I like glue, and I'm not going to be here all day using my art glitter glue. I've got my Elmer's Extreme, which I tell ya, for the price, this works very similar to Scotch Quick Dry and the art glitter glue. It's quick tack, and it holds a lot of stuff. It also, this one works on plastic. I'm pretty sure this is the one I decided that I like the best on plastic. The art glitter glue works on plastic as well. Okay. First, and y'all are going to kill me because most of you don't have it, but if you have like a double-sided Well, let's see, wait a minute. I am going to run these through. You're probably going to kill me, but this is, I think, the best invention since sliced bread. I have the 9-inch one. They do make a 12-inch one, which I think I'd love to have, but I'm not going to go there. And I run these through. And it puts, we got a little messed up right there. There we go. It puts glue on, this is a little thicker than it's used to, you know, for the most of the stuff that goes in there. So there's a bit of a resistance. But this way, when I, come on, come on, Drew, come on, baby, you can do it. It's getting, there we go. Getting a little cranky over here. There we go. So this puts glue on the side that the white paper is on. It puts glue on the back of these. So when I go to put paper, wrap paper around the whole thing, it gives me a solid surface to put it on. Okay. Get that back up there. That's a Xyron. I have the teeny tiny one that does, what, 1 inch? And then I have this one. I used to have the 5-inch, but I gave it to a girlfriend because, you know, when you got the 9-inch, you can do a lot with them. Okay, so the only thing you kind of like to do is just to give it an edge where you're saying, okay, I don't want the glue. I want the glue to stop right there. Usually it does on these larger pieces. It doesn't have a problem, but, and then you just peel this away, and I'm going to actually, I'm going to actually cut these. Which I hate doing because I love having a big piece of release paper when I'm doing my covers, and if I'm covering them with an adhesive or something, because you can put it down and run your roller over it, and it's great for helping the texture. So you put glue all over that, and you run this over with your roller, and then lift it up. It's textured it where you don't see streaks. It's really nice, but every time I do get the bigger pieces, I save them so that I have them for that. But these work. You can only use them once. So anyway, okay. So now on this side, get my glue going here. Okay, I think I've got started getting some. There we go. Want a lot of glue, because that, well, the chipboard starts absorbing it fairly quickly, and you want a good bit of it. Okay, And I'm going to, let's see, because this is going to be, yes. I'm just going to kind of center it. And let me get, I'm getting down to my last few paper towels here. I forgot that this piece was a little shorter. Look at the color that comes off of there. It's supposed to be black. Okay. So there's that. Put the little roller here. Just to make sure it's really getting down in there. No! Sorry, my husband just asked me a question. Okay. It's Sunday, so everybody's home, just relaxing, chillaxing. Okay, so there's that piece. And actually what I'm doing is this is the inside and this is the outside. So it may look a little funny, but one thing, move out of the way. Okay, so I'm just getting this to bend back so I can actually see the black. I'm just using my nail. You could also use your, if you have it, some of you will, some of you won't. And if you don't have it, you know, it's not that big a deal. You're just gonna put your glue or your ATC or, you know, whatever you want to do. And I'm gonna do the same thing here because I want this to bend back so that I can see the edges, so I can get my 1/4 of an inch that I need. Okay. Fold this back. I don't want to ruin the glue, but I do want to get that where I can see. Okay, and I'm going to get my 1/4 inch score tape. And this I'm putting on here not so much because it's going to be doing anything for the book, although it does help to make your edging on the inside, on the outside of your book a little more defined. But I'm doing it so that I have a 1/4 inch space to deal with. And while I'm at it, I'll do the same thing with this. There we go. And there's a little bit of glue seepage. I'm going to wipe that off so that I can make sure the score tape's actually going to adhere. And I'm putting it down right next to it, just dropping it right into place so I can have a nice 1/4 inch measurement. That is all this is doing. If you want to just do it with a ruler and a pencil, you go right ahead and do it that way. It's no biggie. Okay, and so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put glue on my Tyvek right up to the score mark. And get it on the edge here. And this is going to make a workings of the book really nicely, you know, fold back and forth very easily, but it also is going to be incredibly strong. Alright, so now I'm lining up against my score tape, and I'm lining up both top and bottom. And that's it right there. Flip it over. Oops, there we go. There we go. And then we're going to do the other side here. Glue. I'm just about, I've got another one of these bottles, but I hate to open them up when I've still got glue in one. It's just like, I got to use every last ounce. Remember that the glue gets absorbed into this. This is like very thirsty stuff. This stuff right here is very thirsty, and it just sucks it up. So you want to make sure you've got a good bit of it. So now again, I'm going to line up edge to edge. If I can see this edge, I can do it, and using my score tape as a, oh, come on. Trying to work around camera tripod that's sitting right in front of your face is not the easiest thing in the world to do. There is that and that, and I'm right on the score tape. Okay, lift it up, pull it over, give it a nice there we go. Okay, so this is the inside of my book, and this is the outside of my book. Outside. Alright, so I'm pretty much going to let this rest for a little while. I'm going to get my paper ready to cover, and I am going to probably take a little piece of a little piece of this envelope still, and this is another one. Just put a piece right across here, so then I've got both sides done. Alright, so let's see what we're going to do with this. Let me go ahead and get this cut. Oh, come on. I'm not a very good straight line cutter. Yeah. See? Started here, ended here. But that's going to be fine. Nobody's going to see this. I mean, that is the prime objective, actually. Nobody sees the inner workings of your book. They just don't ever have a problem with it. Alright, so there we go. So I guess we're going to put some glue on this. Because again, double-sided sticky stuff, and I like glue for this a whole lot better. For the Tyvek stuff, I think it grabs the fibers and keeps it much better than the score tape or Xyron or anything. And then I'll just have to make sure I get good coverage for my paper when I put it on, because I love to have the full coverage there, so it's Okay, I'm just gonna kind of make sure there's enough of this to get covering both sides. There we go. Okay, and now I'm going to pull this 1/4 inch tape let's see. There we go. Come on. Okay. And I'm going to push this down in to the groove. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the other side. Pull this out of the way. You notice I didn't do a whole lot of really heavy burnishing when I first put it on. You got to give the glue time to set, and then you come back and you burnish. Okay, now we're going to get the other side. There. So now this is going to give us a nice inner workings for that spine piece. Okay, and then we're going to just peel this back far enough to lay down the score tape. And I pulled that up just a little bit, so let me catch this corner here with some glue. I just pulled up a little edge trying to get the stickies off, so I'm just putting some glue down so it will hold. Okay. So we're going to push that right there, and then we're going to just notch it over and put that down. Same thing on this side. Make sure I'm not pulling it up this time. I don't know why it's doing that. Some chipboards are better than others. I really couldn't. I think I got this on Amazon. And I don't think I would buy this particular brand again, but there's no paperwork on it, so I might buy this particular brand again because I have no clue what it was. But I've not been tickled exactly with their... Now if there's anything hanging over, you do want to get it off, because then it's not going to leave you a nice side when you fold over, but this stuff is so thin. But I still take it off, but I'm going to let everything get really good and dry now. Okay, and then we will get this puppy just covered. It's just going to get covered with the black paper at this point, I think. I think you're getting me, this is the inside. Isn't it lovely? Yeah, this is going to be very nice. 1/4 inch on the top and the bottom. And I like the 1/4 inch on the top and the bottom, and I try to have things that kind of fill the space a little bit. So I have things coming out the bottom sometimes, ever so slightly, just so it kind of fills the space. Some people would rather there be that have this down closer to the bottom, but I like to center it. So that's what's next. So we're going to put this down. We're going to get this. Well, wait a minute. I think I'm going to cover this before I do this, because I'm going to cover it and then put the inside paper down. And that is going to be one of these papers. Really pretty inside paper that's going to be good for the front and the back cover. I think. I'm thinking. Okay, well, while I'm thinking, I'm going to cut you guys off so you don't have to listen to the squeaky wheel. I'll be back.